Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. If you like all things true crime, if you like it delivered in a peaceful, tranquil manner, if you like it clear and concise without drama, then I highly recommend you subscribe. And if you like what you hear, please smash the like button. It's a free way you can help. And now, without further ado, let's dig in. Hello, beautiful people. I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I am sending you positive vibes for a great day. It was on February 28th of 2024 that Detective Mark Morris of the Kissimmee Police Department was called and asked to assist the Orange County Sheriff's Office in executing a search warrant for the condo where Jen Soto, her then missing daughter Madeline, and her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, lived. 13-year-old Madeline had been reported missing 2 days earlier on Monday, February 26, and she was still nowhere to be found. Detective Morris was soon appointed the lead investigator on the case for the Kissimmee PD. The Orange County Sheriff's Office also appointed a lead investigator to the case, Detective Tagler. Later that same day, Detective Morris drove to the Orange County Sheriff's Office to interview Sterns. Before Detective Morris entered the interview room where Sterns was being held, he was shown the contents of Stephan's Google Drive, where one folder appeared to be dedicated to images of Madeline. The folder contained more than 1,700 files, and a majority of those images showed Maddie in different compromising positions, if you know what I mean. This is when Orange County detectives began writing up Stephan Sterns' arrest warrant. Now, they had already observed the security camera video of Sterns with a slumped-over, deceased-looking Madeline in his Lincoln sedan on the morning of Monday, February 26. What they didn't yet know was where Maddie was. You have to wonder what Sterns was thinking at this point as he sat in that interview room waiting for the detectives. He possibly was still under the illusion that he'd successfully deleted all the damning files on his phone when he did that factory reset. Perhaps he was also banking on the police believing that Maddie was alive but sleeping when she was observed strapped into the front passenger seat of his silver Lincoln, wearing her green hooded sweatshirt. As Stephan was sitting in the interview room, Maddie's mother, Jen Soto, was in another room. She was being grilled about the day Maddie went missing and about the sleeping arrangements in her home. When Detective Morris and his colleague, Corporal Elgin, entered the interview room where Stephan was waiting, they found him asleep. Understandable. Stephan, we know, had been very busy for the past few days. It's probably exhausting trying to pretend to be a loving, concerned stepfather and to try to get away with SA and worse. Let me just say that Sterns hasn't yet been convicted for Maddie's death, but all signs seem to be pointing in that direction. After the detectives introduced themselves, they explained why they were there to interview him. Sterns was also read his Miranda rights, which he waived. Surprisingly, he agreed to talk. He stated that he'd known Jen Soto for several years, and they had dated during most of that time. When Stephan was asked about the sleeping arrangements in Jen's house, he stated that Madeline typically slept with her mother in her mother's bed. Stephan also claimed that Madeline wanted the three of them to all sleep in the same bed when he returned to the home after being away for several months. According to Sterns, Madeline always needed human contact when going to sleep. He referred to this as, quote, snuggling. As the interview progressed, Detective Morris asked Sterns if Madeline had ever been blank active with anyone in the past. The word that belongs in the blank starts with S and ends with Y. YouTube isn't too fond of that term. Stephan stated that there was an incident when Maddie was much younger. He described this as Madeline doing something with a phone or camera, but stated she was not scolded for this. Now this, to me, sounds like Stephan trying to set the stage for claiming Madeline was the person who took all the 1,700 photos and videos of herself. Stephan went on to say that Madeline was very young when this happened. Detective Morris then asked Stephan if he'd provided Orange County deputies with consent to search his phone. Stephan said that he had. Detective Morris then queried Stephan as to whether or not he had a Google account. Sterns admitted that he did in fact have one. When Detective Morris asked Sterns if he saved pictures to that account, Sterns replied, quote, sometimes. Stephan then admitted that he did have pictures of him and Maddie saved to that account. When Detective Morris asked Stephan about the 1,700 photos and videos, Stephan likely realized that his factory reset had not deleted the evidence of the essay he'd subjected Maddie to. This is when Stephan asked a question of his own. He wanted to know if he should be talking to a lawyer. Shortly after that, he requested an attorney. It was at this point that he was arrested for the essay of Madeline and for being in possession of all that child pee. Next, a forensic unit came in to collect Stephan's DNA. I would imagine Stephan was shatting his pants at this point. Detective Morris then spent some time searching Stephan's Google account and observed the following videos and images. Now these are just some of what was on the phone. Trigger warning, this stuff is not nice, and it could be triggering to anyone who has suffered SA. Number 1 is a video depicting a prepubescent female resembling Madeline, who would have been 8 years and 4 months old at the time. She was laying next to Stephan in a bed, watching cartoons on the television. Stephan is asking Maddie to put what I'm going to call his pee-pee, if you know what I mean, into her mouth for 3 seconds as he counts. He tells Maddie that she will not be able to play with a cell phone unless she does this. Now, this is what you call grooming. Start with 3 seconds and move on to longer periods of time and more intrusive acts, shall we say. What a manipulative POS this dude is. Sorry, but Maddie was just 8. Oh my God. Other pictures show Madeline at 11 years old with Sterns, using his fingers and that pee-pee that we just talked about on her while she was sleeping. And he didn't limit himself to her mouth, if you know what I mean. There are tons of pictures depicting the same type of activity. Thankfully, Sterns has a distinctive and very incriminating black mark on the said pee-pee. Please do not think I'm being flippant by referring to this as a pee-pee. I can't say the actual word because of YouTube, but you know what I mean, and it's serious. As Stephan's interview was going down, and Jen's as well, vehicles were also searched. In Stephan's silver Lincoln, detectives found a handgun in the rear back pocket of the driver's seat. Stephan told the cops he usually leaves it in the vehicle. Now we know from other released documents that Sterns had a lot of live 9mm rounds. You have to wonder if he ever threatened Madeline with that handgun. I mean, we can see from how he manipulated her while they were in bed watching cartoons, the type of modus operandi that he used on her to get her to comply. It's possible that over time, Sterns could have threatened Madeline with something much more ominous, something that actually did end up happening. How Stephan Sterns' mother can defend him and be so supportive of him is simply beyond me. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories. Now smash that like button and subscribe to my channel.